Today's video is brought to you by Card Kingdom, and right now you can get this sweet Scoop Soldier sticker when you order over at cardkingdom.com. Just mention in your order notes that you want a Scoop Soldier sticker when you go to checkout. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Budget Magic. So this week, we are heading to Pioneer for a deck that is almost ultra budget, only $65, and that's only over $50 because of some sideboard cards that are kind of important to the format. Mono blue flyers, and the idea of this deck is hopefully, maybe, we will see if it actually works out, be able to compete with decks like Lotus Breach combo, Dimir Inverter with some sneaky cards to fight against those archetypes while beating our opponent down. Ideally, one of the best ways to beat combo decks is a combination of pressure and disruption, and the idea of this deck is to have that pressure and that disruption and hopefully be able to tempo those powerful combo decks out of the game before they get a chance to find their combo pieces and kill us. So a quick reminder before we break down mono blue flyers for Pioneer. If you enjoy this deck and you enjoy Budget Magic in general, it would be amazing of you if you could take a second, click that subscribe button down at the bottom of your screen. It's a great way to support the channel and the site for free. So let's talk mono blue flyers, starting with some mono blue flyers. Well, not quite mono blue, hybrid, I know. Technically, it's mono colored though. Listen to me, Commander Rules Committee. Judges familiar? You should be able to play in your mono white deck or your mono blue deck. Anyway, we start off with a couple of 4 spike birds. These are some of my favorite creatures to build decks around. They're just 1 mana 1/1 flyers that we can sacrifice to counter instant or sorcery unless our opponent pays 1, essentially. Mausoleum Wonder, sometimes more than 1 if we can pump it. But basically, these cards put a clock on the battlefield on turn 1, and we can use them to disrupt the spells of decks like Lotus Breach, countering their big card draw spells, Dig Through Times, countering Wrath and removal that target our creatures. We back up our 4 spike birds with Siren Storm Tamer, which protects our other creatures, and then Spectral Sailor, just as a one-of, can draw some cards if the game goes long, a nice source of card advantage if we get into kind of a grindy matchup. So this gives us a bunch of 1-drop flyers, 14 in all, and then to turn these flyers into more reasonable threats, we have a couple of cards. Favorable Winds just buffs our team. Ideally, you want to be able to go like 1-drop, maybe 1-drop on turn 2, back it up with Favorable Winds. All of a sudden, all of our 1/1 flyers are 2/2 flyers that can close out the game quickly while also kind of taxing and disrupting our opponent. To back up Favorable Winds, we got Curious Obsession. You probably know this one from Standard. We can stick this on a flying creature, give it a boost of power, but more importantly, draw a card whenever it deals combat damage. Sure, we got to keep attacking, but that's what our deck wants to do anyway. We have all these evasive creatures, so being able to attack isn't a big deal. That's what we want to be doing, and it's just drawing us more cards, which is finding us more threats, finding us more disruption, finding us more Favorable Winds. At the top end of our flyer curve, we have 2 different creatures. One is Tempest Shin, which is just a big flyer. It often comes down as like a 3/4 for 4 that grows throughout the game because it gets bigger as we play our islands, and our mana base, it isn't exclusively islands, but it is mostly islands. So 4 toughness, dodges a lot of red removal. 3 converted mana cost, dodges Fatal Push without Revolt. So this comes down and hopefully closes out the game in the air. And then Nimble Obstructionist, this is one of our tech cards to fight against Dimir Inverter. Obstructionist, it's a fine clock on its own. A flash 3/1 flyer. Those are like Vendilion click stats. So we can flash it in, beat our opponent down, attack Planeswalkers. The other thing that Nimble Obstructionist can do is cycle to Stifle, essentially. Counter an activated or triggered ability. So against Dimir Inverter, we can let our opponent play their Inverter, then they play their Thassa's Oracle, their library's empty, they're about to win the game, we cycle Nimble Obstructionist and uncounterably counter the Thassa's Oracle trigger and hopefully just force our opponent to lose the game. So a combination of being on theme with our flying flash tricky deck and also being really good against one of the most powerful decks in the format makes Nimble Obstructionist an easy 4-of in our deck. Otherwise, for disrupting our opponent, outside of our flyers, we have Merfolk Trickster, our 1 non-flying creature, but it gets a blocker out of the way, it can fizzle an attack, buy us a little bit of time. So even though it doesn't fly, it's a very good creature in our deck because we want to be leaving up our mana. We got a lot of flash stuff. So it's easy to leave up our mana, flash in Trickster, maybe counter a spell with something like Wizard's Retort, which is another really easy inclusion in our deck. We have a bunch of wizards. We're not a wizard tribal deck by any means, but we have enough wizards that we can get this down to 2 mana pretty consistently. And then we just have a counter spell. And counter spell is good against basically all the top decks of the format. It's good against Inverter, it's good against Lotus Breach, it's good against basically anything that's competitive right now. So it gives us just a hard answer to anything that our opponent could throw at us. Mana base wise, a bunch of islands and then 4 Ipnu Rivulets, which is another way to fight against the Inverter deck. If our opponent gets a little greedy and like puts 3 or 4 cards back in their library with their Inverter, setting up for the kill the next turn, we can just mill our opponent and make them lose the game before they get a chance to flash in their Thassa's Oracle or uptick their Jace or whatever. So it's cool tech to fight against the combo kill with Inverter. As far as the sideboard, we get a ton of counters for different situations. Mystical Dispute for blue decks, control decks, Spell Fierce for the Temple Plan, Disdainful Stroke for Inverters and other big things, Negate for non-creature spells, Damping Sphere Tormod Script also specifically targeted at the big decks in the format. Damping Sphere, the best sideboard card, at least one of them, to fight against the Lotus Breach decks. Opponent just can't combo off with this on the battlefield. And then Tormod Script, good against Lotus Breach, good against Sultai, Swedish Sultai, the Sultai Delirium deck, good against Inverter as well. And then we have a Trancing Melody as a way to deal with creatures yoinking Uros and other cheap creatures our opponent puts on the battlefield. And that is Mono Blue Flyers for Pioneer, and that's our budget Magic deck for this week. So let's get to the game, see if Mono Blue Flyers actually really can compete with the top decks of the format. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy it, and I will talk to you soon. Alright, budget Magic time. We are mulliganing with Mono Blue in Pioneer, and we'll keep this. We will put a island to the bottom. This hand's not bad. We have a couple of force spiky birds. Faber wins and Trickster. Seems like it could be reasonable. See what our opponent's doing. You have Maya Coast and passes. Well, play the land, play Judge is Familiar, and Judge is Familiar, and let the 1/1 beatdown commence. If our opponent is playing Lotus Field, all these Force Spike Birds might actually be good. When you see a Yavimaya Ghost, that is the first thing I think of. Opponent, Satyr Wayfinder, going to stock the graveyard. Please no Uros. Alright, mill some cards. And passes. Well, play Favorable Winds. Island, go to combat, hit you for 6. And, I mean, the clock is going. How quickly can you combo through our 4 spikes opponent? That is the question. Opponent, do you have Lotus Field? We might actually be in decent shape here, honestly. This is a lot of soft counter magic for Lotus Field to work through, backed by a reasonably fast clock. Opponent, floats mana, Lotus Field, sure. Sack stuff, and Fate of Wishes. Alright, just gonna run out a blocker, sure. Opponent gets in, yeah. What do we draw? Island. Well, that's Trickster. Tap down Fae of Wishes. Hit our opponent down to 6. And basically, we're trying to close out this game before our opponent can combo. That is our main goal here. Get the tempo win. Eventually, our opponent will be able to combo. So we got to kill our opponent before that happens. That is our goal. Opponent untaps. Okay, Vizier to make a mana and draw a card. Yep. Thespian Stage. So opponent is going to have double Lotus Field. Okay. Opponent. Abriel Grazer is an additional blocker. And a land. And strategic planning. Well, we'll see. This does mean our opponent doesn't have the mana to copy Lotus Field this turn, I believe. Yeah, alright. Opponent passing. Well, we keep attacking and we see what happens. Opponent passes. We draw an island, so we play the island. We go to combat. We swing with our flyers. Opponent's going to go to 4. Oh, that Grazer was actually very obnoxious. Opponent blocks and blocks. Yeah, having an extra reaching blocker is actually might win our opponent this game. Oh, Grazer, for all the harsh words I have talked to Grazer over the years, it is really paying off for our opponent. About it. One more Trickster would be huge. Potentially game-winning, depending on what our opponent has. Whether we need to spend a Mausoleum Wander or something. Hidden Strings. Yeah, I guess we gotta let that go. And maybe our opponent's generated enough mana that we're gonna lose here anyway. Untaps. Wow, so close. So close. Opponent, floating, tapping. 7 mana. Plays an additional Lotus Field. Pour over pages, well, sacrifice. The problem with this is we are losing basically our entire clock. So we can counter the pour over pages, but I don't think this is going to be enough because now we can't actually get through damage. Opponent passes. Nimble Obstructionist. Alright, we can't really attack, so we will play the island, pass the turn. Well, let's see what happens. Opponent floating. Sasa's Oracle, okay. Puts a card on top. Sylvan Scrying to shuffle away the card they just put on top. Blast Zone ticks it up. Oh man, how do we do this? How do we do this? This Obstructionist, how do we manage it? That is the question. Opponent's got one card in hand. Do we say? I think we got to run it out. I think we got to run it out and go attacking. All right, yeah. Nimble Obstructionist. Untap. Tempest Shin. Go to combat. Attack with our flyers. Opponent blocks. Well, this is the turn. We are going to cast Tempest Shin. We are going to have lethal next turn. Can our opponent win this turn? That's the question. Opponent, one card in hand, draws for the turn. What do they have? Do they have the Underworld Breach? Are we dead? Oh, please not pour over pages. Well, we sack. Oh, that is the absolute last card we wanted our opponent to have in hand. Well, now we see if our opponent fizzles. Opponent pays. We have 6. All right, we did what we could. Is it enough? Oh, that pour over pages is absolutely the card we did not want to see from our opponent. Yeah, opponent discards a card, up to 3 in hand, untaps their lads. They got to win this turn. If they have Underworld Breach, they can do it, though. Opponent, mana, tapping, adding red. I mean, if they have Underworld Breach, then we're dead. Oh, that pour over pages was so brutal. Opponent. Oh, are we going to end up 1 turn short? Tons of mana. Expansion Explosion. So opponent's not going for the win this turn. If we draw Trickster, we win. Tempest Shin. That's not good enough. Attack. Opponent can block with Fae of Wishes. Yeah. Opponent's back up to 4 cards in hand. Well, second Tempest Shin. Pass the turn. But opponent drew so many cards. It's hard to imagine they're just whiffing, but we'll see. Opponent. Strategic planning. Going to draw some more cards. Yeah. I mean, we are out of action. So opponent found what? Hidden Stirrings. Going to make a bunch of mana. So opponent's up to basically infinite mana. Another strategic planning. Yeah. Chaining them together. Mills a couple lands. Takes whatever the non-land was. Oh, so close. So close. Takes up Blast Zone. And then untaps Blast Zone to Wrath our Tempest Shins. Wow, what an obnoxious way for this matchup to go. Yup, okay. Well, now we're back to being forever away from winning. Arboreal Grazer for our opponent. Puts another land. Oh my goodness! Oh, wow, this is so brutal. Opponent's going to Wrath our board. Again. Pass the turn. Again. We draw Trickster. Which is not actually... Oh, man, if we had drawn that 1 turn earlier! Wow! Oh, we have been so close for so many turns, and we're just short. Opponent passes. Can we draw a flyer? Oh, no, deck. Oh, pass the turn. Oh, no. Wow, opponent. Gonna make even more Lotus Fields. Yeah, Lotus Fields all around. Opponent taps, gets in, hits us, sure. Yeah, we're not even gonna block. I don't really care. I don't know what shenanigans there might be. Opponent passes. We draw. Ooh, Nimble Obstructionist. Okay. Now play the land. Pass the turn. This gives us hope. Will it do it? Does our opponent draw something? Oh my goodness, this matchup, this game. Opponent taps. Come on, whiff. Whiff. We finally drew potentially a way to win. Opponent. Oh no. Oh no. Vizier. Okay, that could have been worse. Yup. Untaps. Thespian Stage. All right, we're going to go for it. We got to go for it. So, Nimble Obstructionist. Untap. Trickster. Tap Grazer. And we got there! Oh my goodness, we got there! Wow! Oh, what a game! Oh, we were so close, but I guess that shows there is sub fizzle rate in this the Stormy combo deck. Our opponent, they were doing their thing, but yeah, we were able to keep just enough pressure going, and our opponent whiffed just long enough that eventually we got there. Well, we do have some good sideboard cards for this matchup. We get Damping Spheres, Tormod's Crypts, Mystical Disputes Negates, I think? Definitely Negates. Not sure about Mystical Disputes. The problem with Mystical Disputes and Spell Pierce is our opponent's deck makes so much mana that they have the ability to pay fairly easily. So we'll go down Tricksters. We'll trim a Spectral Sailor. Stormtamer is actually funny because it counters Expansion Explosion. Another upside. What else can we cut? Maybe we gotta trim like Favorable Winds and maybe one Obstructionist. Try it like that. Obstructionist is especially for Inverter, although it can do some things against this deck as well. Okay. This we like. That is a Damping Sphere and a Tormod's Crypt with a Mausoleum Wonder backup. That is, we cannot ask for much more than that out of our hand, honestly. Opponent, Botanical Sanctum. Arboreal Grazer. You gonna put a land into play? Yep. Well, we will play an island. Play Mausoleum Wonder. Play Tormod's Crypt. Pass the turn. Show us that Lotus Field. Show us that Lotus Field. Getting down this Damping Sphere against the Lotus Field is so good. Blast Zone. Plays the Blast Zone. That's more of an issue. Opponent passing. Well, play an island. I don't... Yeah, I guess we gotta pass. I don't feel like we can run out Damping Sphere with Blast Zone on the battlefield. That is a nice, clean answer. Unless our opponent plays Lotus Field, then we gotta run it out. Strategic planning. Mill some stuff. Float some mana, plays a Grazer. All right, there's a Lotus Field. All right, well, we will run out Spectral Sailor. An opponent's going to need some mana just to get this Blast Zone going. Well, play Damping Sphere. Ooh, I guess we could have, Yeah, I guess we could have eaten the Satyr Wayfinder, couldn't we have? I actually forgot this was a Spirit. And no reason to attack, pass the turn. So opponent needs a land to start taking up Blast Zone. Opponent has no colored mana at the moment. Opponent's learning the joy of Lotus Field versus Damping Sphere. Maybe regretting sacking all their colored mana. Opponent passes. That's good news. Play the island, and I think our best bet is start drawing cards with Spectral Sailor. Rather, we can't get through these Grazers at the moment anyway. All right, opponent hits a land. That is big for them. That is going to let the Blast Zone get rid of Damping Sphere eventually. It could kill our creatures, but I think our opponent has to try to tick it up and get rid of Blast Zone. Opponent passing. Well, we'll draw a card. Tempest Shin is a clock. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Tempest Shin. Rivulet. Mausoleum Wanderer. I mean, we're offering our opponent the option to blow up all of our 1-drops. And we are pretty fine with our opponent taking it. We will lose our board to keep Damping Sphere if our opponent goes that direction. Opponent taking up the sphere. Yeah. They need another land to crack it, though. And that's a whole nother turn. Maybe we can get the tempo win. And we have Tormod's Crypt as a second line of defense. Opponent passing. I'll play Rivulet. Yeah, go to combat. Attack with everything. Opponent gonna block him. Block. Take 5. And... yeah, we'll just pass for now. Keep drawing cards with Spectral Sailor. No, still just 1 mana. Oh, no. Oh, okay, this doesn't do anything. That just draws a card, that's fine. Sure, okay, there's a land. So this turn our opponent can blow up our Damping Sphere. Oh man, drawing a Stifle Bird here would be insane. Well, we will draw a card. Tempest Shin, untap. Tempest Shin. Well, play Rivulet, go to combat. Attack with everything. Opponent blocks. Let's draw a card. Alright, another Tempest Shin. Alright, opponent. You managed to get out from under the Damping Sphere. Does this mean you win? Alright, let's see it. Opponent. I mean, we still have a couple of Force Spike Birds. Opponent plays another Lotus Field. That's not great. Hidden Stirrings. Yeah, alright. They might have us through our hate card. Opponent, tons of manas. Vizier, even more mana. Oh, alright. Well, now we gotta basically hope for the fizzle, because our opponent has oodles and oodles of mana. Strategic planning. Oh, alright. Well, opponent hit something insane because they milled one of their best cards. Pour over pages. Yeah. All right. Well, fizzle, please. Opponent doing their thing, making tons of mana, drawing tons of cards, discards a land, 4 cards in hand, 9 mana available, has a Supreme Verdict. All right, that's less than ideal, I would say. Another oh my goodness, another strategic planning. Another strategic planning. Yeah. Well, that was a good turn for our opponent. Opponent passes. We draw. Well, play Tempest Djinn. Play Judge's Familiar. Play Siren Storm Tamer. Pass the turn. Thespian Stage. 6 mana. Hidden Stirrings. Roughly infinite mana. So 11 mana. Winning on opponent. 10. Granted. Presumably to get another Wrath. And we can't really stop it. Alright, yep. Another Supreme Verdict. Opponent Wraths. Unfortunate. Copies. Yeah. Opponent. Passing. Ugh. Untap. Well, pass the turn. Actually, let's play... Yeah, let's just pass. Pass the turn. Opponent. Negate's not bad. Fae of Wishes, sure. Opponent. Passing. Alright. Favorable Winds. Alright, we can play one of them. Play a Favorable Winds. Pass the turn. Opponent. Gets in with Fae of Wishes, down to 17. I don't think they're going to win with a beatdown. Opponent passes. Now play an island. Yeah, we are running a bit low on threats. Pass the turn. Yeah, discards cards, picks up Fae of Wishes. I mean, we can negate it when our opponent goes to cast it here. Dig through time. Okay, we will negate. Opponent can still Fae of Wishes, though. Yep. Fae of Wishes. 4. Ugin the Spirit Dragon. And cast Fae of Wishes. This Ugin is a problem. A very big problem. Opponent passes. Ugh. Yeah. Ugh. I think our opponent might have got us. They might have gotten us. We've just kind of flooded out now. Opponent gonna cast Ugin, I assume. I think the one way we can potentially win is... Yeah, Ugin. Is our opponent going too greedy and getting in a position where we can mill them out with Rivulet? But that doesn't seem super likely. Opponent gets in, hits us. Well, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Alright, untap. Storm Tamer. Alright, play the lad pass the turn. Yeah, I think our opponent got there. Boy, we made that. We made it tough, and we made it close. Opponent untaps. Ugins us to 10. Gets in with Fae of Wishes. Down to 9. Opponent passes. Oh my god, more lands. Holy. Alright. Well, that's about the other issues. We've drawn a meaningful number of lands here. Opponent hits our face, down to 6. Yeah, I think we just lose to this Ugin. I'm not sure how we can get out from under it. Opponent attacks, we block, not that it really matters. We need our opponent to ultimate the Ugin, and it looks like they're just not going to. Underworld Breach. Well, Milieu. Tormod's Crypt you. Opponent. Anger. We draw. Ugh, more lands. Well, play Favorable Winds. Yeah, it looks like this Ugin's gonna make it. Wow, we fought a good fight. And our opponent has another concern, which is they could run out of time here. Wow, another island. All right, well, we flooded out. Boy, that was very close. Considering we are playing a deck that is about as unbeatable as a deck could be at the last Players Tour. I think that was a reasonable performance. We'll bring an Obstructionist. Maybe we go down all the Favorable Winds and bring in the Mystical Dispute too. At least one of them. All right, run it like that. Well, we're on the play. Favorable Winds doesn't seem super helpful because our opponent has all these random flying blockers anyway. Well, we're keeping this. We're keeping this and praying hard for another land for this Damping Sphere. This hand is very good, minus something going wrong with this Siren Storm Tamer. Like, as long as we draw lands, this hand is basically how we drew it up. We even have Curious Obsession to draw more lands. If our opponent grazers, though, it gets way worse. Of course, there's a grazer. Well, can we draw land? That is the big question here. We can. Okay. Yeah. We will pass the turn. Actually, do we want to just Damping Sphere? Yeah, let's pass. Let's wait until after our opponent plays Lotus Field. We have the Wizard's Retort. Our opponent's other issue is timing out. They're way lower than us on time. That's me on stage. Opponent, passing. Can we keep drawing lands? No. Alright, well, we will pass the turn. Okay, Vizier to draw a card. Sure. Come on, land. Opponent. Satyr Wayfinder. Gonna go digging for Lotus Field. Finds one. Plays Lotus Field. Well, you know what that means. That's Damping Sphere time. Land? No. Alright, well, Damping Sphere. Go. Botanical Sanctum. Opponent. Gonna get in for one, sure. Oh, we would love a land. We would love a land. Alright, well, we will pass the turn. Things are getting a smidge on the awkward side here. I mean, I guess this was the risk in keeping the one-lander is... It was possible he just didn't draw any more lands. I think our opponent was thinking about copying the Lotus Field and was like, alright, we will counter that. Breeding Pool. Alright, now we really need lands. Gets in with Satyr Wayfinder. Opponent. Granted. Probably going to get an answer to Damping Sphere, I assume. Oh, Jace? Interesting. Land? Alright, there's a land. Well, Tempest should. Get a clock going. Pass the turn. Jace is kind of a surprise. Opponent doesn't even have all the blue mana for Jace at the moment. Okay, there's a blue mana. Breeding Pool. Tapped. How do they cast... How did that blue color... I don't actually understand how our opponent was able to cast Jace there, honestly. Opponent. Passing. Well, go to combat. Attack Jace. Opponent blocks. Well, we will play Judge's Familiar. Play Judge's Familiar. Pass the turn. How did our opponent play Jace there? I'm very confused by how that worked. Opponent. Jace. Mills us. Draws a card. Granted. Well, we will counter. Opponent pays. Counter. Opponent passing. Well, Curious Obsession, Storm Tamer. Hit our opponent. Hit Jace. Draw a card. Yeah. Storm Tamer. Go. Opponent. Alright, Fae of Wishes on defense. Takes up Jace. Mills us. Yavimaya Coast. Opponent. Passing. Land? Alright, there's a land. So go to combat. Attack Jace. Attack our opponent. Okay, opponent gives up on the Jace. Yeah, pass the turn. Picks up Fae of Wishes. Sure. The question's going to be, can our opponent actually win the game before they run out of time? And I think the answer might be no. Granted. Tutoring from the sideboard. Wow, what a crazy game. Well, I guess, if anything, we showed our deck's power in this matchup. Opponent gets a return to nature. The bad news for our opponent is we have another Damping Sphere that we've been slow rolling because of the potential of Blast Zone. Get in, hit our opponent, draw a card, and yeah, another Damping Sphere. And opponent scoops it up? Whew! Okay, taking down the monster. That is the power of Mono Blue. It actually felt like we had an okay matchup. I mean, our opponent's time issues played into it, but I think with that second Damping Sphere, we just kill our opponent the next turn naturally by attacking. I think we were just going to beat them, like, fairly. The biggest, baddest, scariest, undefeatiest deck from the most recent Players Tour. That was pretty impressive for a very cheap deck. All right, sweet. All right, budget magic time. We are playing some mono blue flyers in Pioneer. And, alright. Looks like Swedish Sultai, perhaps. Well, play the land. Play Mausoleum Wonder. Pass the turn. Opponent. Swamp. And passing. Well, Rivulet. Go to combat. Get in with Mausoleum Wonder. Hit our opponent. And pass the turn. Grizzly Salvage. Well, no Uro, but our opponent's going to get a Jace or a Satyr Wayfinder. Takes a Jace by the looks. Island for our opponent. Runs out of Jace. So Jace is going to flip pretty quick. Let's Trickster. Tap down Jace. Untap. Play on the island. Yeah, I think we have to Tempest Shin. Play Tempest Shin. Go attacking. Hit our opponent to 14. Opponent loots with Jace. Flips Jace. discards a land. Okay. Yeah, what are you doing with your Jace? Takes up on Trickster. Sure. These 3 Rivulets, a little annoying with our Tempest Shin. Overgrown Tomb untapped. And Walking Ballista X2. It's also a little annoying. Gonna kill our Mausoleum Wanderer. Opponent, pass it. We draw. Favorable wins. I'll play Rivulet. Play favorable wins. Play favorable wins. Hit Jace to 2. Let's see what our opponent has. We don't really have any way to protect this Tempest Shin at the moment. Opponent. Eat to Extinction. Yeah, that takes care of our Tempest Shin. And now we're left without a whole lot going on, unfortunately, in the face of this Jace and a Walking Ballista on the battlefield. Opponent gets in. Or not. Or not. And another land. Yeah. Well, things are looking mighty grim at the moment. Opponent, considering their options. Yeah, a little heavy on the lands here at the moment. Thought Erasure. Well, we'll Trickster. Since we got nothing going on, I assume this Thought Erasure is setting up a row, and that will be setting up our demise. Thought Erasure, nothing in hand. Opponent takes up with the Jace. Passes. We draw. Oh, come on, deck. Why? Yeah, alright. So we're up to 8 lands and not many spells. Nissa. Well, I won't scoop early, but we are 1,000,000% dead here. Opponent untaps the land. Takes up Jace. Plays a Fabled Passage. Cracks a Fabled Passage. Gets an island. Goes to combat. Hits us. Down to 15. We draw. Wizard's Retort. Ugh. Alright. I mean, I don't think this is really an early scoop. If you look at this battlefield, there's no way we're winning this game. That Wizard's Retort would have been good in the past. If we had drawn that after land 7, might have had a shot, but, well, it wasn't meant to be. We'll trim the Nimble Obstructionist, bring in a little bit more interaction, maybe go down to favorable wins for a Mystical Dispute, try it like that. What we would really like to do is get Curious Obsession going on a 1-drop to kind of snowball the advantage. Entrancing Melody has some decent targets in our opponent's deck. This is probably a less good matchup, I would say, than some of the other top-tier decks. We will play first, and alright. I mean, we have a Curious Obsession draw. We'll see. We'll see if it works. Land Storm Tamer. Tormod's Crypt, go. Blooming Marsh for our opponent. Fatal Push. Alright. Well, that plan fizzled. Play an island. Pass the turn. Opponent. Breeding Pool. Untapped. Alright, play a Trickster. There goes our Curious Obsession, and this is already... Oh my... Alright, well, this is feeling... Holy mother. Okay, this is feeling really bad. Yikes. Yikes. Well, there goes our Curious Obsession. We get to keep our counterspell, play a Rivulet, and let the doing nothing begin. Land for our opponent. Yeah. Well, so I think we have to kind of be the aggro/tempo in this matchup, and that opportunity is gone at this point. So I think it is essentially impossible that we win from here, in all honesty. Opponent's at 16. We got nothing going on. Entrancing Melody is kind of interesting. Opponent plays more Uros. Gonna draw some cards. Gain some life. Put some lands into play. Back up to 19. Well, this might not be the best matchup for our deck. Overgrown Tomb for our opponent. Untapped. Leaving up more counter spells, apparently. Well, alright. More lands go. Yeah. Alright. Well, our hand looked decent to start with, but opponent had a lot of interactive spells over the first 2 turns, and we went from having a hand that looked pretty reasonable to doing nothing very quickly. Boom. Gotcha. Look out, opponent. 17 turns of Mausoleum Wanderer attacks and you're done. Opponent. Alright, Fatal Push number 79 into a Tireless Tracker for our opponent. Well, I mean, We're going to try to steal this. I'm guessing our opponent's last card's a counter. It is Mystical Dispute number 79. Oh, boy. Well, this was the blowout of blowouts. Land. All right. I don't want to be the early scooper. I don't want to be the early scooper and get yelled at. Opponent cracks the clue, grows the tracker, draws a card. Well, opponent just had the right answers for what we threw at him. Siren Storm Tamer. Back to the 17-turn clock. Pass the turn. Opponent. Walking Ballista. Well, I mean, boom. Counter that. But now our opponent gets to get Uro back. Both of our entrancing melodies, or our entrancing melody is gone. Storm Tamer number 2, doubling the clock. It's like a Furnace of Wrath in blue. Just keep playing 1-drops and all of a sudden your clock increases. Opponent down to... Sure, land, clue, cards. I'm not scooping. I'm not doing it. I'm not getting yelled at in the comments. We're sticking this out to the bitterest of ends. Murderous Rider, opponent, lifelink, draws another card with Tireless Tracker. I'm not doing it, YouTube. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I refuse. Judge is familiar. Furnace of Wrath is back. Double the clock. Up to 7 turns. Except there's lifelink. We will get in. Hit our opponent. All the way down to 13. Pass the turn. Opponent, land, clue. Cracks the clue, draws a card. Grows the tracker. Not doing it. Not scooping. Not doing it. I will chump block with every Judge's Familiar in our deck before I scoop this game. Opponent. Eat to extinction. I'm not doing it, chat. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not scooping. I'm not scooping. We're fighting to the end. Chump. Yes. We dropped to 5, but we're not dead. It's not over. There's hope. There's hope. Disdainful Stroke. All right, maybe our opponent forgets to attack. Misclick. Give us that misclick value. Opponent. Tossings. No, okay. We're not scooping, chat. We're not scooping. Mill you. Our last hope is to mill them out. Can our opponent accidentally draw 33 cards before they go to their attack step? If they do, we got them. Opponent attacks. They did not draw 33 cards. All right. Well, we didn't scoop early. I'll give our deck that. All right. Budget Magic time. We are playing some mono blue flyers in Pioneer, and we'll try this. We got a flyer and a Curious Obsession. Not much else, and we don't really have a way to protect our Curious Obsession creature. And we'll see what our opponent's playing. All right, land and Mausoleum Wonder. Go. Opponent. All right, Dragon Skull Summit. Let's see what we draw. Just a land? Well, I guess we got to go for it. Get in, hit ya. Draw a card. Pass the turn. Be nice if this lived, but my hopes are not super high. I guess at least we got it to cycle. Opponent has a Wild Slash. Yeah. Well, that's not great for us. Castle Lockwane. Could use a threat. More. Ugh. All right. Well, the Flood Out is officially on. That's not great. Opponent. Passing. Well, all right. Tempest Gin. That's a card. Opponent's got 6 cards in hand, though, and missed their land drop. So, odds of our opponent not having removal. Although Tempest Gin does dodge Wild Slash removal. Does dodge Fatal Push. Opponent stomps our face. Sure. It would be spectacular if Tempest Gin lived. I guess we could have waited a turn to play around Angrass Rampage. I don't even know if that's a thing worth doing. Opponent. Kroxa. Okay, that's fine. Kroxa makes us discard. We'll take some damage. Discard Rivulet. And, all right, go, Tempest Gin. Counter? Ooh, that's counter. All right, Tempest Gin, get in for 5. And now I kind of like where we're at. We got a clock. We got a counter. We got some tricksters. Hopefully we can just protect this Tempest Gin and ride it to victory. Oh, opponent still missing land drops. Yup. Well, that's not working out for our opponent. Play Storm Tamer. More protection. Get into a Tempest Gin. And, yeah, I think there's a decent chance this Tempest Gin gets there. Pass the turn. If our opponent taps out for something, we can just flash in both Tricksters and win. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I guess we only need to flash in 1. Lightning Strike our face? Okay, yeah, we'll go to 12. So I think we should just have the win, basically. We only need to flash in a Trickster to have lethal, and opponent not hitting their land drops. So opponent has a lot of burn. Huh. Well, bring in Entrancing Melody. Stealing a Kroxa sounds hilarious and pretty awesome. And I think we just trim like a couple of obstructionists, which probably don't do much in this matchup and seem to die to infinite cheap burn spells that our opponent has in hand and run it like that. Well, this is not a fast hand, but we're going to keep it. If we can get 2 Curious Obsessions going, things could go very well. 1 drop? Ooh. Entrancing Melody could be sweet eventually, too. Opponent, what you got? Thought Seize. Yeah, has some options. Takes Tempest Djinn, Dragon Skull Summit, and Thought Seize. Wow, the ultimate mismatch. Theros, foil Iconic Masters, takes favorable wins. Well, we could use a creature at some point. That's a land. Pass the turn. Well, this hand has got a lot more sketchy, thanks to double Thought Seizes. Castle Embrith for our opponent. Holy mother of Thought Seizes. Alright, 3 Thought Seizes takes Entrancing Melody. Well, now we have just literally nothing going on. Island Go. Trickster is interesting. Trickster is definitely very interesting. Opponent stomps. Okay, so if our opponent plays this Bone Crusher, in theory we can Trickster, tap it, double Curious Obsession, start drawing cards, and go from there. It's better to have the Curious Obsessions on a flyer, but land. 2 cards in hand. Bone Crusher Giant. Opponent's got that mana up. I don't think we can do it. I think we gotta wait and try to draw. Well, Judge is Familiar. Okay, that's something-ish. Play Judge is Familiar, pass the turn. Opponent goes to combat and gets in. Yeah, let's take it for now. Awkward position with how much removal our opponent has. Castle Lockwane. Opponent passes. Counter. Land. Well, play the land, get in with Judge is Familiar. I just don't feel like we can Curious Obsession. We saw like so many removal spells from our opponent that I feel like the odds of it actually working are so slim until we can draw a counter. Is our opponent going to Castle Lockwane? I think we're actually in favor of our opponent. Stoke the Flames, our face, okay. Blood Crypt, 1 card in hand. Now, beginning of combat, we will Trickster, tap down Bone Crusher, opponent passes. Wizard's Retort is probably our perfect draw. Curious Obsession on Judge is Familiar. Curious Obsession on Judge is Familiar. Opponent. Oh my goodness. Whoa! Oh boy! Oh! I was not expecting that. Oh! Okay, now we probably lose. Oh, wow! Fry! What are the odds that it's exactly Fry? Oh, that is super unfortunate. We had literally every removal spell, I think, in the entire format, other than random sideboard Fry covered. Opponent. Colligan's Command, well, we'll counter it. Oh, we had you, opponent. That Fry was so insane. We draw nothing. Yeah, and that should be game. Opponent untaps. Oh, Fry. What are the odds? Opponent gets in, hits us. Down to 2. Plays a land. Draws with Castle Lockwane. Down to 8. Yeah. Well, good sideboard card, I guess. Well, okay. Oh, my goodness. Huh. Well, I can't do much about that. Can't do much about that at all. Let's go down 2 more Obstructionists. Go up 2 Spell Pierces. Run it like that. Oh, Fry. Of all the cards. Well, we get to play first, which should be a benefit. Dak, really? Alright. We will keep. We will put a Trickster, I guess, to the bottom. Land and Mausoleum Wander. Opponent, Foreboding Ruins. Untapped, Soulscar Mage. Opponent, passing. I'll play the land. Yeah, Curious Obsession. Get in. Draw a card. Judge is Familiar. Pass the turn. That does slow our opponent's removal down a bit, but they still have like Wild Slashes that could deal with Mausoleum Wander. Opponent combat. Gets in. We are not going to block. Down to 19. Blood Crypt. Untapped. Young Pyromancer. Interesting. Okay, well, we untap. Play a land to go into combat. Attack. Hit our opponent, draw a card. Yeah, let's pass the turn. See what our opponent has. Urborg. And combat. Opponent. Attacks. Sure. Down to 16. Opponent passes. Play Rivulet. Go to combat. Attack. Opponent's going to Lightning Strike. Alright, let's Wizard's Retort. Counter it. Hit our opponent. Draw a card. Play Judge's Familiar. Pass the turn. Oh, this is really close. Blood Crypt. Untap down to 8. Interesting. Stomp. Okay, so opponent gets rid of our Curious Obsession. We will sack. Bone Crusher goes away. Opponent gets a 1/1. Opponent attacks. 1, 2. Yeah, I think we kill Young Pyro. Actually, do we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what? We're going to take it. We got to close out this game. We are the aggro. Opponent. Lightning strikes our face. Sure. No, so we are down to 7. Island. Tempest Shin. Attack. Pass the turn. Oh my goodness, this is close. Opponent. 3 cards in hand. What might they be? Blood Crypt. Untap to 4. Huh. Okay. Chandra Torch of Defiance. Okay. To kill our Tempest Shin? Wow, takes up. Huh. Sure. Lightning Strike to 5. Well, go to 4 for a Merfolk Trickster. Tap Soulscar Mage. Opponent. Attacks. We block, go to 2. But win on the backswing? Maybe? Trickster? Saving the day? Oh, got the GGs. Whew! That was close. That was super close. But we got there. Just barely. Opponent had, Legions end in hand. But not very good against all of our sackable creatures. Wow. Huh. I wonder if our opponent should take down the Chandra on Tempest Shin. We might have still been able to win depending on how they attacked. I guess we probably would have been able to. Because we let him attack, eat something with Trickster, and swing back for 4. Wow, that was a close game. Well, we'll take it. Sweet. Alright, budget magic time. We are playing some mono blue fliers in Pioneer. And we'll give this a go. I mean, we got a curve, we got some threats, we got a counter. Good enough, hopefully. Potentially, maybe. See what our opponent's doing. Plains, interesting. Favored Hoplite. Alright, so some sort of Bogglesy deck, I presume. This could be an issue. Land go. Oh, this is probably I would guess this is the SRAM Auras deck from the Players Tour. Yeah, Concealed Courtyard. And Ethereal Armor. So opponent's gonna build a big dork. How big will it be? Opponent gets in, hits us. Down to 17. Passes. We'll play a land. Play Siren Storm Tamer. You attacking. Opponent. Untaps. Maybe probably should have played Storm Tamer first, so we could leave up a counter. Sentinel's Eye. Yeah. That is a big ol' Hoplite. Opponent gets in, hits us. Down to 11. Passes. We'll play the land. I think we have to play Tempest Shin. Get an actual clock going. Attack with Storm Tamer. Oh, we're gonna have to go ultra tempo mode. This Trickster is helpful. Opponent untaps. Please don't kill us. Opponent's not making land drops, so they have a handful of something. Opponent combat. Attacks. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright. Yeah, I think we have to chump this turn. Alciad. That is bad news. Go to combat. Attack. Hit our opponent. Stop on our opponent's upkeep. Trickster. Tap the Hoplite, maybe. Karmetra's Blessing. Well, we have to counter that. Alright, it gets tapped down. That is a temporary reprieve, maybe. SRAM. Yeah. Opponent. Passing. We untap. Just an island. Going to combat. Attack. I don't think it's going to be fast enough. Hit our opponent. Down to 9. Opponent. Cartouche. Draws a card. Grows the dork. Yeah, we're going to end up like a turn. Oh, we're dead right now, aren't we? Yeah, all right, sure. Yeah. Well, I do not know how this matchup goes. This is a deck that our deck isn't especially designed to compete with, I would say. We will bring in Entrancing Melody and Spell Pierce. I guess we trim Nimble Obstructionist. Oh, yeah. All right, yeah, cut the Nimble Obstructionist. Okay, run it like that. Yeah, this feels tough. Might go better with us being on the play, maybe. Well, I don't think we can keep this, unfortunately. Oh, whoa! Oh, well, all right. Yeah, I think we are probably dead. Okay, well, go, Judge's Familiar Curious Obsession. That is our hope. We will put a land and a Judge's Familiar to the bottom. And, well, let's see. Boom. Judge's Familiar. Go. Let's see what our opponent has. Do they have a 1-drop? Plains. And, of course, it's a favorite Hoplite. It's not great. Well, play the land. Play Curious Obsession. Go attacking. Draw a card. I mean, this might help us dig out of the mulligan, but 5 cards is not a high number of Magic the Gathering cards to begin a game with. Alright, Spell Pierces for days. Hopefully our opponent does not follow this up with a SRAM. Griff's Boon. Well, we will Spell Pierce that. Opponent gets in for 2. Well, if our opponent's on 1 land, alright, that helps. Play a Storm Tamer. Go to combat. Get in. Hit our opponent. Draw a card. Play the land. Okay. Okay, we might be able to pick up the tempo win here. Wizards are towards big. That stops anything. Opponent untaps. Griff's Boon. Well, we will Spell Pierce again. Flying is an issue because it shuts down our offense. If our opponent wants to just make Hoplite big, we can deal with that. But flying is unacceptable to our game plan. Opponent gets in for 3. Watch us just lose race mode to the Hoplite. Down to 15. Opponent passes. Tempest Shin. We'll go to combat. Attack. Hit our opponent. Draw a card. Yeah, alright. Tempest Shin. They can't have a 3rd Griff's Boon. That would be a big bummer. Opponent untaps. Please not a 3rd Griff's Boon. Ethereal Armor. Okay, that is fine. So we're going to take 5. But now we just got to win the race. Opponent gets in, hits us. Yeah, and I think we can win the race. Down to 10. Opponent passes. Spectral Sailor is actually pretty good. That lets us just attack with everything. And then if we need to, we can flash in Spectral Sailor to chump. And still have Wizard's Retort up. Opponent down to 6. We get to draw a card. Yeah. Play Mausoleum Wonder. Pass the turn, and I think we got this one. With a counter in hand, I think we're good. Opponent, Ethereal Armor. Sure. Not really any reason to spend a counter on that, because we can just chump block. Actually, we don't even need to chump block, do we? There's no free spells in Pioneer, and opponent scoops it up. All right. Well, that is our recipe for winning, I guess. It did require our opponent to be stuck on 1 land, although, on the other hand, we mulled to 5 on the play, and still got there, so we'll take it. All right, running back. We're on the draw this game, which is frightening. The scary part is we're not very good at dealing with creatures in specific. All right. Opponent keeps 7. Godler Shrine. Untapped. Favorite Hoplite. Huh. A lot of favorite Hoplites for a deck that usually only plays like 2 of them. Well, Judge's Familiar. Go. Opponent. Godless Shrine. Untapped. Ethereal Armor. Ugh. Yeah. And Sentinel's Eyes. Well, I mean, that's a 6-7 attacking on turn 2. Play draw does feel like a pretty big deal in this matchup, I guess. Down to 14. Opponent passes. I'll play the land. Play Curious Obsession. Play... Actually, let's attack first. Get in, hit our opponent. Draw a card. Play Storm Tamer. And pass the turn. Griff's Boon would be very problematic. Caves of Koilos. Hateful Eidolon. Hateful Eidolon. Alright, opponent gets in for 8. And yeah, I think we just have to take it, unfortunately. Down to 6, untap. Play the island. Get in with Judge's Familiar. Hit our opponent, draw a card. Yeah. Alright. Tempest Djinn. Tempest Djinn, chump block with Storm Tamer. Next turn we can Trickster plus Wizard's Retort. We're dead to a Elciad here. Ethereal Armor. Yeah, alright. That does it. Sure. Alright. Budget magic time. We are playing some mono blue flyers in Pioneer, and yeah, that sounds fine. I mean, we got flyers, we got a favorable wins, counterspell eventually. Close enough. See what our opponent's up to. Alright, land and Mausoleum Wonder. Go. Swamp for our opponent. And Thoughtseize. Yeah. Alright. Well, take your pick, opponent. I assume they take favorable wins, but we'll see. Probably depends a little bit on what they are. If our opponent's mono black, I think there's a chance we can just race. If they're inverter, wow, it takes Mausoleum Wonder. Interesting. Interesting. Well, play a land, play favorable wins. Get in for 2, pass the turn. Opponent out at 16. More threats would be nice. Alright, looks like inverter. Opponent ups. If they can fatal push our Mausoleum Wonder, then we're left without a threat, which isn't ideal. To the bottom. Opponent passing. Now play the land. Get in with Mausoleum Wonder. Hit our opponent, and yeah, we're just going to Tempest Djinn. Get our clock going. We can protect it with this Mausoleum Wonder, and then hopefully we can just ride this to victory before our opponent can combo. That is the goal. Drowned Catacombs. And Omen. Okay, that's fine. Sure. Opponent really needs a fatal push, I think, just to slow us down. Opponent passes. Ooh, Storm Tamer is a really nice draw. Play Storm Tamer. Go to combat. Attack. Hit our opponent. This still leaves our Wizard's Retort on, which is important. Opponent's facing lethal next turn through kind of a boatload of counters, honestly. We can Wizard's Retort and Mausoleum Wonder and still have lethal with favorable wins, and opponent scoops it up. Alright. Pressure 'em, tempo 'em, beat 'em. Sort of working. Okay, so opponent is playing Inverter, which means we want Disdainful Stroke. Do we want Tormod's Crypts? Merfolk Trickster does not seem super helpful. We can go down Trickster, Mystical Dispute, Tormod's Crypt. In some ways, Tormod's Crypt is, I think, maybe better than Leyline because our opponent can't benefit from it as easily because we have the choice of when to sack it. Maybe we go down one Spectral Sailor. I like our 4 Spike Birds. Nimble Obstructionist is our secret tech, and yeah, alright, try like that. I mean, that worked. We could bring in even more counters. We'll see. We'll see how it works. Nimble Obstructionist, though, is hopefully our our secret tech, but that worked pretty well. Just like pressure, disruption, kill him. That seems like a relatively reasonable plan against Inverter. We'll take it. And let's see what our hand looks like. Whew. Alright. I think we're actually going to keep this on the draw. One land is a little awkward, but we got a bunch of 1-mana plays and a Tormod's Crypt, so land? New. Alright, play the land, play Judge's Familiar. Get down Tormod's Crypt, pass the turn. Watery Grave tapped. Opponent passing. Alright, Siren Storm Tamer. The 1-land plan is not ideal. Get in with Judge's Familiar. We would like to be able to Curious Obsession, but too easy to get got by a removal spell. Land, please, for this Wizard's Retort. Okay, go to combat, attack. Well, our Greedy Keep is maybe not paying off. His hand has so much of what we want against our opponent's deck, though. Opponent takes it. Well, Storm Tamer, part 20. If we get one more land, then we can feel relatively safe about getting Curious Obsession going. Omen of the Sea for our opponent. Yeah, if we had the land, we'd be able to do some interesting things with our counter spells, but, well, we'll see what our opponent has. Maybe we, geez. I think I'd keep this hand again. Maybe we should have just thrown out the Curious Obsession and tried to start drawing cards to hit lands, although apparently we didn't have any lands on the top of our deck anyway. Opponent. 1 card to the top. And Island. Jace. Alright, we can't actually stop that. Opponent mills us, draws a card. There goes a land. Oh, we wanted you, land. Well, let's see what we draw. We untap. Not a land. Well, since we did not draw a land, we're going to have to Curious Obsession. There's a decent chance we're just dead, though. If our opponent just has Inverter in hand, we just lose immediately. Cannot get the Jace off the battlefield. And just never drew land number 2, unfortunately. Oh, we had all the counters we wanted, too. Tormod's Crypt's not doing much with how our opponent's been able to play this with the Jace. Opponent in the tank, for some reason. Alright, we go to combat. Hit our opponent. Hit Jace. Hit Jace. Draw a card. Yes. Ugh. Oh, we have every card that we want in this matchup. We just can't cast it. Opponent, you got the Inverter. Yeah, Inverter, Jace. Well, that was awkward. Well, I always get yelled at for keeping one-landers, and I guess this is another time you can yell at me for keeping a one-lander. I still think that ad was pretty good. Well, unfortunate, we just never drew another land. Well, let's go up one more Mystical Dispute. Down to 1-drop, run it like that. All right, well, hopefully this time we hit more lands. We are in the play, which is nice. That hand was kind of mocking us just because, oh, we had every card we... Oh, no. All right. Well, not keeping that. Yeah, this we will keep. We'll put a Tormod's Crypt to the bottom. Land, Mausoleum Wander, Tormod's Crypt. This hand is fully medium. We don't have anything that actually interacts with our opponent's combo, but we can't be too picky after being forced to mulligan. Opponent has the Fatal Push to take down our 1-drop. Well, play the land, go to combat, pass the turn. Wizard's Retort could be good eventually, but we don't have a wizard. Well, run out Spectral Sailor. Oh, that is the worst draw. Well, pass the turn. Oh, this is looking grim. We might get the old double mana screw here against Inverter after convincingly taking down game number 1. Huh, alright, well, there's our last Tormod's Crypt. The other one's on the bottom of our deck from our mulligan. That's not a card we actually really wanted. Opponent, gonna cycle a Fetid Pools. Thoughtseize. Yeah, we don't got nothing going on. Unfortunate. Takes Tempest Shed. 1 Grave untapped. Runs out a Thassa's Oracle. Can't do anything about that. Huh, yeah, these have been some pretty rough draws for our deck here. Magic Gods not cooperating. Well, now we draw land. Pass the turn. I don't think just these Tormod's Crypts are going to be able to save us here, unfortunately. Opponent gets in, hits us. Down to 19. Another Thassa's Oracle. So opponent's just going Thassa's Oracle tutor/beatdown. Leaves a card on top. Well, Rivulet's interesting. Watch us just lose 2 Thassa's Oracles attacking us. That is a travesty. Opponent gets in, hits us, passes. We will pass the turn. What a way for this to go! Opponent, land. Oh, this is hilariously awkward. Down to 15. Opponent passes. We draw Nimble Obstructionist. Opponent untaps, plays a land, gets in with the Oracles. Sure. Well, boom. Obstructionist. Opponent has Mystical Dispute. Can't do anything about that. We untap Judge's Familiar. Pass the turn. Alright, well, we drew a card. Drew a creature. Opponent. Thought Seizes. Well, yeah, let's counter that. I think we need this Curious Obsession. Opponent gets in, hits us to 9. Passes. Well, we gotta go for it. Obsession. We got a Fatal Push. Survey says, indeed. Wow! Oh, this is so hilariously unfortunate. Fabled Passage. Opponent gets in, hits us to 9. We draw. Nothing. Play a Favorable Winds. Pass the turn. Oh, if we lose to Thassa's Oracles attacking us, I don't know what to say. Opponent gets in, hits us. 2/7. Wizard's Retort. Well, that's a card that we want to stop the combo, but it does not stop us from losing to Thassa's Oracle's Beatdown, which is apparently what's happening here. Opponent gets in, hits us to 5. We draw a Judge's Familiar. Well, we will play Judge's Familiar. Pass the turn. I guess this slows the beat slightly, maybe. Opponent untaps. Ops. To the bottom. Oh, we really need more creatures. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks. We will block and go to 4. Opponent. What you doing, opponent? Wow, what a weird way to have trouble with Inverter. All right, Storm Tamer. Okay, we have found enough creatures to stop the surprisingly effective Thassa's Oracle beatdown plan, at least for the time being. Oh my goodness. Wow. We came very close to just losing to Thassa's Oracle attacks. That is not how this matchup is supposed to go. Not even close. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks. Well, we are going to double block a Thassa's Oracle. Hero's Downfall. Yeah, I think we have to counter that. Or attempt to. Okay, we successfully killed a Thassa's Oracle. Opponent plays a land. Passes. And I'll play Mausoleum Wanderer. Go to combat. Attack, attack. Alright, beatdown mode. Can we race a Thassa's Oracle? The real questions. We have the combo fairly well covered with Ipnu Rivulet and Tormod's Crypt. Opponent, combat. Attacks. Sure, we will block. No, yeah. So there goes our board. Gonna need more creatures. Opponent pays. Yep. Sack you 2. Opponent pays. Come on, deck. Give us creatures. Well, technically that's a creature. Judge is familiar. Go. Opponent untaps. Kalitas. Yeah, that is going to beat us. Island. Oh, wow. Oh, what a way for that match to go. Huh. I don't know what to say about that one. Okay. Okay. Awkward. So what do we learn this week about mono blue flyers in Pioneer? And overall our record, meh. We finished 2-3. Would like to be 3-2 with a budget deck, but 2-3 is fine, especially considering we were really competitive in the games that we lost. The one match where we just got absolutely crushed was Swedish Sultai. Oh, the combination of removal and life gain and big threats, that was just a really difficult matchup for our deck. On the other hand, we beat Lotus Breach. We were very competitive with Inverter, even though we lost. Rakdos, we took down, and then we played Black-White Auras, and boy, that came right down to the end of Game 3 when our opponent top decked the Ethereal Arbor and was able to get a lifelinker to steal the game. So even though our overall record was a little meh, we had some really encouraging signs about the deck being super close in those matchups. Like one draw one way or another could have swung 2 of those matchups. So we were pretty close to having like a 4-1 rather than a 2-3. So I feel like the deck was more competitive than its record actually suggests. The deck itself, it can be pretty powerful. We have a lot of really tricky taxi effects that can be very effective. Obviously, if we can get Curious Obsession going, those are our best games. We can just snowball that advantage really quickly. One thing that would be kind of interesting in a non-budget deck, maybe going to white to have Staggering Insight too, to have more of those effects, more card draw, more life gain, more spiraling our advantage out of control. So I think that's something that might be worth trying, although it's hard with Temptation and it's really hard on a budget just because of the mana base. But I feel like for an ultra budget deck, or almost ultra budget, in Pioneer, even though we didn't take down all the top decks in the meta, we took down some of them, and we were competitive with the others, except for Swedish Sultai. We don't talk about that one, but we didn't scoop early. I made sure of that. So I feel like the deck has a nice combination of pressure and tricks, disruption, has a good sideboard plan for the most part, and is in a decent place for an ultra budget deck in the format. So if you like beating down with cheap flyers, doing tricky stuff, stifling stuff, countering stuff, this feels like a pretty decent budget deck for the format, I think. Anyway, that's been Mono Blue Flyers. That's been our budget magic for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.